हेलो एंड वेलकम एकेडमी डिसीजन चैनल में आप सब लोगों का स्वागत है फ्रेंड्स। टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट क्लास 6th civics, that is chapter 4. The name of the topic is key element of the democratic government. So friends, in this chapter we are going to study about the major factors which are influencing the functioning of the democratic government. We also discuss about how people participate in the democratic process, as well as how the conflicts have been resolved in a democratic system, and the issues of equality and justice we should study. First of all, we are seeing an example of South Africa is a country, friends, as you know, which had been ruled by the white minority government for a longer period of time. Unlike India, the white people resided in South Africa permanently, and they started a highly discriminatory racial government. In racial government, there was differences between the white, black, colored and the Indian people. So in South Africa, very unequal system was there. Until South Africa transformed itself from a autocratic country to a democratic country, and from a minority racial government to the majority government of equality of opportunities and egalitarian social order, we shall discuss. And we also know that India is our point of concern, because India also got independence in 1947 from British clutches, and the constitution was implemented on 26th January 1950. So the two countries and their relative case studies we are going to study. First of all, there is a story told by the author in which she wanted to tell about the factors which led to the liberation of South Africa from the white minority government to the majority African black government led by Nelson Mandela. So let us discuss about one issue in which the author told that Maya Nidu, one 11 years South African girl living in the town of Johannesburg, while just clearing her old boxes, she found out one scrapbook full of pictures of a single boy. And that boy was also very attractive, and she asked her mother who that boy was and why many of his pictures have been kept there. Her mother told that the boy was Hector Peterson, who was shot dead by the police. Maya was immediately shocked, and she asked why Hector was shot dead by the police. Her mother told that South Africa was earlier ruled over by the apartheid law, in which the white minority government ruled over the people, and there was a complete separation between the races. The white, black, Indian and colored race, they were different from each other, and the government did not allow them to mix with each other or to keep relation with each other. So Maya was just disbelieving regarding the story, because Maya born in a different atmosphere. In the meantime, her mother told that even in hospitals, as well as in the market, in trains and buses, everywhere there was a discrimination, and no black was permitted to travel with the white. No black was admitted into the club of the white. Everywhere, even in the beaches also, in the sea beaches, there was also clear-cut discrimination prevalent. Non-whites were not allowed to vote. Even voting right was denied to them. Vote was highly compartmentalized, means limited with a group, and the best areas of the country were reserved for the whites. There were white towns and black towns also. In the white town area, the white people were permitted to stay, where the rooms and the periphery was highly open, and the land is at the higher gradient, whereas the black people were accommodated in the dingy and low-lying area. Hector Peterson started his movement along with his friends because he wanted to learn his own language, Zulu language. But the government, especially the white government, did not permit him. when he and his friends they started a movement. The police beat these protesters and mercilessly shot at the crowd. And one bullet came and pierced the chest of Hector Peterson. Immediately he died there. It was on 16th June 1976. That means a school student who opposed and protested against the non-inclusion of his mother tongue in the school syllabus was just killed by the minority government, which was completely autocratic and which was following the principle of complete injustice and harshness. So, African National Congress, a political party, imbibing and following the footprints of Mahatma Gandhi, and their leader was Nelson Mandela, who just fought continuously, and he was kept in jail for 27 years, but still he did not leave his movement, and ultimately in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country, and they accepted a finest constitution, and all the races were treated as equal. So democracy again implemented in South Africa, which was long since prevalent or not, it is in antiquity, we do not know. But South Africa became a democracy, and they have codified and accepted a best constitution, so to say, very fine constitution. So now question is, list 5 ways in which the non-whites were discriminated against. The non-whites were discriminated in bus, in trains, in hospitals, in keeping or owning properties, and the non-whites were discriminated in government services and in also learning languages. Do you think it is important for all persons to be treated equally? Why? This question is put forth through the students of class 6. This question carries much importance because, as you know, equality is very much essential, especially equality under equal circumstance. If equality would not be provided, then the country is not following justice, it would be presumed, because for development and for betterment of all the people, equality of status and opportunity is highly essential. In an unequal nation, the standard of the people would not be developed, people would be scared, people would be skeptic, and people do not have faith upon the government and over other communities. If equality would be prevalent, then different communities would live peacefully. There would be peaceful coexistence. So equality is the first requirement of the development of a country. In an unequal situation and unequal environment, people may not feel better for their growth and development. Now the next caption comes, what are the basic criteria of democracy in a country? The first criteria is participation, because as you know, the take-off point of democracy is the participation of the people, or the supreme power of the people to choose their representatives. Nowadays, we are living in a democratic setup which is called as a representative system of a democracy. In a representative form of a democratic system, as you know, people choose their representatives and people make their decisions. Democracy of the people, by the people, for the people is practicalized or is pragmatized through the voting system. People choose their representative, and the representatives take decisions which is presumed that it is taken by the people. It is assumed that the people might have taken the decision. So the representatives represent the wishes, the will, and the opinion of the people. In a democracy, one government, suppose, is formed by the people on the principles of a democratic majority, but that is not given sanction to rule over the people for eternity. एक लोकतंत्रात्मक शासन जो है, लोगों के द्वारा जो सुना जाता है, उसका कार्यकाल 5 साल है, अनंत काल के लिए नहीं। उतनी ही समय तक गवर्नमेंट कार्य कर पाएगा, और अगर अच्छा काम करेगा तो उससे री इलेक्ट भी किया जा सकता है। लोग उसे पुनः निर्वाचित करेंगे। अगर वो सही ढंग से काम नहीं किया, लोग उसे उखाड़ फेंक सकते हैं। बिकॉज डेमोक्रेसी लोगों को ऐसा पावर देता है, नागरिकों को ऐसा पावर देता है कि वो 5 साल में अपना पसंदीदा सरकार को ला सकते हैं, और जो सरकार अच्छा काम नहीं करता है उसे उखाड़ फेंक सकते हैं। तो जब लोग एक सरकार को वोट देकर चुनते हैं या उसे नकारते हैं, ये लोगों का जो सुप्रीम पावर है। और ये ही हमारा संविधान में लिखा गया पॉपुलर सॉवरेंटी है, जनप्रिय संप्रभुता या सार्वभौमत्व कहलाता है। इसमें दूसरा चीज दिया गया है कि पार्टिसिपेशन में सिर्फ वोट देना या दूसरा कुछ करना। आप लोगों को मालूम है हमारा संविधान में फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन है। ये फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन के अनुसार क्या होता है कि नागरिक अपने विचार को लिखित रूप से या मौखिक रूप से व्यक्त कर सकता है। वो सरकार के खिलाफ बोल सकता है। 2005 में एक उदाहरण दिया गया, जब बिजली का जो कीमत में बढ़ोतरी हुई, लोगों ने आंदोलन किया, लोगों ने सिग्नेचर कैंपेन किया, रैलियां निकाला। अतः उसका नतीजा ये हो कि सरकार ने अपना डिसीजन को वापस लिया और बिजली के बिल में जो बढ़ोतरी हुआ था उसे कम कर दिया था। इससे कई सारे लोगों की दबाव से सरकार का कानून भी परिवर्तन होता है, क्योंकि सरकार भी लोकतंत्र में लोगों के द्वारा निर्माण होता है, लोगों के वोट से निर्माण होता है। और अगर कोई सरकार का काम जो है वो फेयर नहीं है, अनफेयर है, अनजस्ट है, तो उसके खिलाफ भी जो गणमाध्यम है, मास मीडिया, न्यूज़पेपर, मैगजीन, टीवी, ये डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट इशू और रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के बारे में भी चर्चा करते हैं। आजकल तो ये जो केबल टीवी का जमाना हो गया और इंटरनेट का जमाना हो गया, इसमें सरकार का कार्य के ऊपर लोगों का बिल्कुल आंख रहता है और मीडिया का आंख रहता है। जहां पर कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है तुरंत वो न्यूज मीडिया में निकल जाता है और लोग भी आंदोलन पर उतर आते हैं। तो लोग ऐसे विभिन्न कम्युनिटी के लोग जो है, माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी, दलित कम्युनिटी, आदिवासी, वुमेन एंड अदर्स, they participate in different protest movements against the government, because in democracy under article 19 the people have the right of freedom of expression and speech. They can also form association, they can criticize the government either orally or in written form. मीन्स लोग अपना मुंह से सरकार के खिलाफ बोल के अपना विचार व्यक्त कर सकते हैं, या वो लिखित रूप से कोई न्यूज़पेपर, मैगजीन में लिख के या पैम्पलेट में लिख के सरकार के खिलाफ भी अपना विचार व्यक्त कर सकते हैं। सो इन ए कंट्री लोगों को ये प्रोटेस्ट करने के लिए अलर्ट और इंटरेस्टेड रहना पड़ेगा, ताकि सरकार जो है, लोकतंत्रात्मक सरकार, ठीक ढंग से काम करे। लोगों का तो ये पावर है, लेकिन लोगों को ये काम करना चाहिए। अगर लोग सही ढंग से ये काम नहीं करेंगे, अगर लोग जागरूक नहीं होंगे, तो ये सरकार मनमानी ढंग से काम करेगा, चाहे वो लोकतंत्रात्मक सरकार हो, चाहे किसी भी प्रकार का सरकार हो। इन डेमोक्रेसी इट ऑलवेज नीड्स दैट द पीपल शुड बी अवेयर। वंस रूसो रिमार्क्ड, noted French philosopher Rousseau remarked that eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. That means always आपको जागरूक रहना पड़ेगा, ताकि आप अपना स्वतंत्रता की जो फल है उसे चख सके, उसे खा सके। अतः whenever the situation requires, people should protest so that the government could limit itself to its periphery, and whenever it is doing any unpopular thing or unpopular decision, it should keep the protest of the people in mind so that it could not be deviated from its original course of action. Need to resolve conflicts. In a democracy, conflicts ought to arise because many people are residing. So the government should make some mechanism to resolve the conflict. How to conflicts be resolved? You see, India is a multifarious country, many cultures, many religions, many regions, and many economic backgrounds, especially rich, poor, and middle class. In India, different people are residing. It is a rainbow nation, many cultures, many religions, many regions, and a different economic background people are residing here. So, whenever discrimination occurs, Whenever differences occurs, naturally it leads to controversy. And it is the role of the government to resolve the conflicts. If government does not resolve the conflict, then it could lead to the problem which cannot be solved later on. For example, the differences between the two communities in India, Hindus and Muslims, during the pre-independence era led to the sordid partition of the country. India was partitioned into India and Pakistan. So government must evolve some strong mechanism to solve the problems so that there would be peace and tranquility. There should be public order and morality in the country. सरकार को ऐसे कदम उठाना पड़ेगा कि जिसके द्वारा लोगों में जो समस्याएं हैं, जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, वो सुलझा जाए. इसका एक प्रमुख उदाहरण है कि रिलीजियस प्रोसेशन. जब रिलीजियस प्रोसेशन होता है तो एक धर्म के लोग अगर कोई निकाल के लेते हैं झांकी, तो दूसरे धर्म के लोग उससे विरोध भी कर सकते हैं. इस स्थान पर आप लोगों ने देखा होगा जब कोई रिलीजियस प्रोसेशन होता है तो पुलिस वहां पर रहता है. पुलिस का ये ड्यूटी है कि समस्या शुरू होने से उसे रोक पाए, या अगर समस्या हो जाए, वायलेंस हो, तो उसे वो बंद कर सके, क्योंकि पुलिस जहां पर रहेगा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करेगा. लोग एक दूसरे के ऊपर पत्थर नहीं फेंकेंगे, कोई किसी को आक्रमण नहीं करेगा, कोई किसी को गाली नहीं देगा. टू मेंटेन discipline, police should be there. Another point is discussed here regarding the river water sharing. Recently, river water sharing in the recent years is creating a problem, as you know, and two states in India, especially Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, they are at the dagger's end for some times due to the sharing of the river water of river Kaveri, which is flowing to two states. It is started from Karnataka and ended at Bay of Bengal through passing through Tamil Nadu. This river is meeting the demands of two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, but the Krishna Sagar Dam in Karnataka is controlling the water. So Tamil Nadu started its Mettur Dam for the irrigation purpose of its farmers. So regarding sharing of water, there was a dispute. So at last they went to Supreme Court, and according to the principles devised by Supreme Court in its verdict, the water sharing is done as Tamil Nadu is residing in the downstream and Karnataka is located in the upper stream. So as Tamil Nadu is located in the downstream as well as Karnataka is located in the upstreams, so the proper sharing of water is done by a tribunal that is called as Kaveri River Water Sharing Tribunal, and ultimately that solved the problem. So the fair distribution of water for both of the states is required according to the constitution of the water sharing arrangement by the tribunal. So the long run problem between the two states, near about for 30 years they continued the conflict and it was solved. So the problems of the states could be solved through this peaceful means, through the legal means, so that the unity and integrity of the India could be kept intact. Otherwise, there would be vociferous tendency. Now, equality and justice. Equality, is the basic principle of our constitution. Now, equality and justice, friends, as you know, equality is much essential for the development and progress of an individual. Equality means treating all the people equal under equal circumstance. And justice is to give each one his due. To give each one his due is justice. So, equality and justice both are inseparable in a democratic social order. As we studied regarding South African situation of apartheid, likely in India also, friends, there was a system of untouchability in which low caste people were not touched by the high caste people, fearing pollution and impurity. So this system was highly unequal and against the human injunction. The basic human rights were denied to those people who were treated with untouchability. They were also denied education. In transport and medical facility, even drawing water from the common well was also denied to them. Dr. Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the drafting committee as well as he was a noted leader of the oppressed class, he strove hard and ultimately it resulted in an egalitarian constitution in which all the people, irrespective of their religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, they got a right to equality. So all people are now treated equally. Equality and justice, we have discussed, both are inseparable. Now you see some of the people, they cannot come at par with others because for centuries together they are treated unequally and are placed at the lower echelon of the society. सदियों से उनको समाज की मुख्य स्रोत से शामिल नहीं किया जा रहा था, अतः उनका स्थिति जो है बहुत बदतर था. इस स्थिति को बढ़ाने के लिए, इस स्थिति को समरूप लाने के लिए, इन ऑर्डर टू मेक ए लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड, so to say a level playing field, our constitution gave some special provision. This special provision is given in form of reservation. So through reservation, communities or the downtrodden communities, they are brought at par with other people by giving them some protective discriminations through which they are giving reservation in civil posts as well as in the educational institution. Civil posts plus educational institutions, they were given reservation. Through this reservation, they might come to at par with other people. And another is the gender distinction which was prevalent in India in order to stop that and to bring girls at par with men. Now, girl child is also given more importance, and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, this slogan is now in vogue. So, inequality, injustice is not the order of democracy. In a democracy, everybody should get equal opportunity. But whenever one community is given preference over other, or when one community is subjected to inequality, discrimination, injustice, and facing prejudices and bad stereotypes, their proper development cannot occur. In that situation, the laws of the land should do something so that the downtrodden community or the community which is just staying back in the social echelon, they should come forward and be at par with the normal people or normal community. So now you see education is a vital weapon, as you know. Through education, change could be brought. So in order to impart education to all, right to education is also formulated. Right to Education Amendment Act of 86th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2002 was imposed. Amendment was held, and a supplementary legislation of RT 2009 followed. This amendment and Right to Education Act is made by Parliament in 2009. So now education is only weapon through which we stop all these demons of inequality and injustice. So in a democracy, now we should sum up what we have learnt. In a democracy, first thing is the participation. Because the take-up point of every democracy is the participation of the people. The participation of the people is through vote and through participating in the working of the government. In the working of the government, people should participate. They should criticize the government. They should advise the government. And in case of any unpopular law or unequal law, they should register their protest also, so that the government could reform itself. Next thing is, after participation and criticize, the people should stick to the principles of equality. They should not practice inequality, and justice should give in all sorts of inequality, like the apartheid of South Africa, जिसको हम कहते हैं रंग भेद नीति. ये रंग भेद नीति हटना चाहिए. और इंडिया में जो कास्ट सिस्टम में अनटचेबिलिटी था, ये अनटचेबिलिटी भी हटना चाहिए. ये सब हट गया है जब साउथ अफ्रीका से रंग भेद हट गया है, और अभी उनका जो ब्लैक गवर्नमेंट है, अतः साउथ अफ्रीका में भी इक्वालिटी आ गया है और भारत के संविधान के द्वारा ये अनटचेबिलिटी को हटाया गया है। ये ही लोकतंत्रात्मक सरकार का मूल स्वरूप है। अगर लोकतंत्र में नागरिक के बीच असमानताएं है या हो तो कभी भी लोकतंत्र सफल नहीं हो पाएगा। तो हमको ये याद रखना पड़ेगा कि लोकतंत्र में सबसे बेहतरीन चीज क्या है, उसमें ये है कि विजिलेंस ऑफ द पीपुल, विजिलेंस ऑफ द पीपुल और तो टू से दी अवेयरनेस ऑफ द पीपुल, लोगों की जागरूकता बड़ा मायने रखता है। अगर लोग जागरूक हो तो अन्याय हट सकता है, तो असमानताएं हट सकता है। तो इसीलिए ये जागरूकता बढ़ाने के लिए important weapon is education which is creating awareness and it instills the dignity of the individual. So in our present context of a discussion, key elements of a democratic government: participation of the people, the working of the government participate also, not only through vote, and in case of any problems, in case of any conflicts, as you know, there should be peaceful resolution, peaceful solution or peaceful resolution of the conflict, that order and morality would prevail in the country. So this lesson is followed by MCQ and mind map. So please stay with me. Thank you. Now friends, let us see the mind map of the chapter key elements of democratic government. So in this chapter we learned about South Africa. First of all, we learned about South Africa, where there was apartheid rule was there. Hector Peterson was the student who died out of police firing, protesting to learn his own language, Zulu. Apartheid principle is called as Rangabhed. It's the discrimination on the basis of one's body color. It is called as a color discrimination. Then in South Africa, there was a white prejudicial and discriminatory rule, and then it was Nelson Mandela of African National Congress who was instrumental in bringing democracy to South Africa and the majority black rule. So we learnt about the restoration of democracy in South Africa and the making of their democratic constitution irrespective of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth as implemented in South Africa in 1994 AD. South Africa became a truly democratic country. So then we are going to discuss about the methods of participation of people in a democracy. The first participation is voting, and it should be on the basis of a universal adult franchise, UAF. Then next is criticizing the government. People who elect their government must criticize the government, and resolution of conflicts like the conflicts on the basis of sharing of river water occurred in India for some period of times relating to the Kaveri river water sharing dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And then is equality and justice. Equality and justice are the hallmarks of Indian Constitution to promote an egalitarian social order. So after that, we are going to discuss about the MCQs in order to recapitulate the topic and to restore the learnt lessons in our memory. Now the question is, who was shocked after hearing the story of earlier South Africa? It was Maya Nidu. The second question is, what does apartheid mean? Apartheid means it was color discrimination. Color discrimination. So the answer is not allowed. That means the persons are not allowed on the basis of their body color, especially in the white regime. So not allowed is the right answer. Not allowed is the right answer. Then how were people of South Africa divided before independence? South African people were divided before independence as white people, black people, colored people, as well as Indians. So the right answer is bit D. It is all of these. Next question 4. What was the state of ambulances for black people in South Africa? it was not equipped like the white people. So it is the right answer, point B. What is the official language of South Africa? The official language of South Africa is Zulu presently, and it was previously English. So point A at present is the right answer. Next, who was the leader of African National Congress? The leader of African National Congress was Nelson Mandela, who was instrumental in bringing democracy to South Africa. Then question 7. When did South Africa become a democratic country? It was in the year 1994. Africa became a democratic country. So it is the right answer. Next question. How many years in is the Indian government elected? Indian government is elected for 5 years. So the time period for a government is 5 years in India. If a government wants to be in power, it has to be re-elected by the people. If it is re-elected, then it comes to power. Otherwise, it is going out of power. Question number 10. If a country people are alert and interested in how the country runs, so that a country will be stronger, because eternal vigilance is price of liberty. So the awareness of the people is very much important towards making the country a developed country and a stronger country. Question number 11. Which issue can become a source of conflict between states? It is the river water, especially the Kaveri river water dispute was the major event which occurred between the state of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka for certain period of time. The dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu was for the water of the river Kaveri. Then question number 13. Which dam is used by Karnataka for irrigation? It was Krishna Sagar Dam. It is Krishna Sagar Dam which is used by Karnataka for irrigation. And which agency steps in to promote justice by providing special provisions that helps girls to overcome? It is the government. So government makes provision for equality in the society. So it is making provision for the girls to become equal with the boys, or the women to become equal with the men. So friends, I request you to subscribe to my channel. My channel's name is Academia Asian. So please subscribe to it and motivate me to produce more and more videos. Thank you very much. Friends, thank you.